It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? So I'm sure you're not watching me live right now because it is nearly 8:50 Eastern Time. Now, my normal start times and days are 6:30 Monday through Friday. Now, yes, I can hear you saying, come on, G. I know it's your own show, dude, but you can't be on CP time on your own show. Au contraire, mon frère. I can when I have a good reason for it. And I have a great reason for it. First of all, please subscribe, share, screen grab, like, and binge watch all my back episodes. Now, why am I coming to you about 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time? It doesn't matter if you're watching me on demand or whenever you can. I know many of you all who subscribe to my channel, you get a notification when I go live. And you're saying, wait, Geno, live? What time is it? Today, I had the honor to have a sit-down conversation for somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes with President Joe Biden. That's right, our Commander-in-Chief, the 46th President of the United States of America. Yes, I had a chance to have a sit-down conversation and let him explain to people, let him talk about all the things that he has done for the black community. And yes, his administration, the Biden-Harris administration, they've done a whole lot. Remember those $250 to $300 a month, remember the child tax credit? She was getting those checks every month until the MAGA cult took over the House of Representatives and cut off the money. President Biden was responsible for taking nearly 50% of all children, including many who were African Americans, out of poverty. I had people in my own family who were right on the brink that really made a huge, completely changed their lives and the lives. I have a niece, and she told me, as a matter of fact, she was a guest on the show, and she talked about how those child tax credits, she has 4 kids, and it was $250 to $300 per child a month. How that completely changed their lives. And unfortunately, once again, once the MAGA cult came in and took control of the purse strings of the money, because the House of Representatives, they control the money. Think of them like the business manager at your station, or the person that does like the accounts payable, that pays the bills. That's the House of Representatives. The Senate, they do things like they vote on Supreme Court judges, which is very important because the president talked about protecting and restoring reproductive rights and reproductive freedoms for women. Here in South Carolina, this is a state that has a 6-week abortion ban. Most women at 6 weeks don't even know they're pregnant. Heck, some women going 6 weeks without having a cycle is kind of normal, unfortunately. How do I know? Because I grew up in a house full of women. And grandmother, mother, sisters, wife, daughters, nieces. So I've had plenty of time to understand these things and learn these things. So President Biden spoke about student loan, because I know my Gen Zers, my Z-lennials, Gen Zers, and my millennials. I say, President Biden, what are we going to do this campaign promise? Well, he's given out over $130 billion in student aid. As a matter of fact, over 800,000 people got an email in 2023, and maybe closer to 1 million, that talked about their student loan debt was canceled. A lot of black folks got that email, okay? Restoring women's reproductive rights and freedoms. That affects all women, including black women. It could be you. It could be your wife. It could be your sister. It could be your daughter. It could be your niece. It could be your mother. Where if this MAGA cult has their way and has a national ban on abortions, or 6 week, in essence, that is a full ban on abortions. like you have here in many of these southern states, including South Carolina, once again, it has a 6-week abortion ban. It virtually makes having an abortion virtually, and in many cases, it doesn't matter if the life of the mother is in danger. It doesn't matter if the woman or the child is a victim of incest or rape. You have these old ass men making decisions about a women's reproductive freedom. They claim that they're pro-life. They're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. Because the MAGA cult leader said that we should get over the fact that an 11-year-old black kid was killed. You had a recent shooting, I can't remember the city, but you had the MAGA cult, the orange jumpsuit jackass Hitler, to actually say that we have to get over these mass shootings. Really? You said that out of your mouth. President Biden also talked about defending this democracy. And I told him just point blank to his face, for me, as a black man, and for people to look like me, it feels like a choice between our freedom and our oppression. And what are you going to continue to do to defend democracy? And the president addressed it. So I'll go into more details on tomorrow, on Tuesday, or today, depending on when you're watching it. So I just wanted to come back on and let you know why, as I see some people watching me live right now, why I didn't come on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Why I'm showing up 2 hours. I'm pulling a Lauryn Hill, right? Not my daughter. the R&B singer, the R&B superstar, showing up to my show, 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours late? Hey, listen, when the president invites you to have a conversation, when he allows you, when he bestows the honor to you to be able to have a sit-down, one-on-one conversation with the president, allowing him to talk to the black community specifically, and that's what the conversation was all about. So all these, he too old, and he ain't done this, and he ain't done nothing for black folks. I check the receipts, because he has done a lot and wants to do a lot more. And it's complicated. We didn't get a chance to talk about what's happening in the Middle East, but once again, listen, the president, he went from asking to insisting that Bibi Netanyahu, your white nationalist prime minister in Israel, make sure that they do everything they can to reduce civilian casualties. And Bibi Netanyahu and his military, they've done anything but that. Because there are many people in Mr. Netanyahu's cabinet, people around him, that wants to get rid of all the Palestinians, basically turn that little strip of land into rubble. And they damn near have done it already. And then on the other side of Israel, the West Bank, want to get rid of the Palestinians in the West Bank. Now, that's not my opinion. You can Google it. There are people in Bibi Netanyahu's cabinet, in his administration, that said the quiet part out loud, even to the point where even Netanyahu was like, well, wait a minute, hold on. They went too far. I don't condone that. I rebuke that. For him to say that, they must have went way too far. Some people in the Bibi Netanyahu's cabinet said there's no good, I'm paraphrasing, there's no good Palestinian, and that all Palestinians are terrorists. Come on, dude, really? We're not doing that. We're not doing that. President Biden and all the military, his defense leaders, Secretary Lloyd Austin, Secretary of State Tony Blinken, they have made it. They've said it on camera. So if they said on camera that we are telling the Israeli government and their military to do everything they can to limit civilian casualties, and they've said it, President Biden and his administration through Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Secretary of State Blinken, they've said it multiple times. to any camera that's in front of them. So if that's the conversation they had in front of cameras, I can tell you the conversation that they've had when cameras are not around are even stronger and more forceful. But Bibi Netanyahu's attitude is, listen, y'all can't tell us how to conduct our war. We were attacked by terrorists, and they were on October 7th. But as my grandmother taught me and as my mother teaches me, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Go after the terrorists. Go after the leaders. You've got the most sophisticated military in the Middle East. And guess who's funded by? America. Trained. They've modeled their military after America's military. So I digress. So that's what happened today. Shout out to everybody that's watching me live. So the next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and I'll take a deeper dive and talk about the conversation, the sit down. It'll be on my radio station, I believe, this Friday, 7:05 a.m. Eastern Time. I will give you the exact details, but that interview is scheduled to air on my radio station, Star 99.7, and you can listen to it on the TuneIn app. Just go to star997.com. But I'll give you the exact times and everything and let you know how you can listen to it online. And if you're in the Charleston, South Carolina metro, listen, thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you. And God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Show. Once again, I want to thank President Joe Biden. It was truly an honor to have 10 to 15 minutes of your time. The most powerful man in the world took time out of his busy schedule. While he was here in Charleston, he gave a great speech at the Mother Emanuel Church, the site where nine angels were murdered, assassinated by a young white nationalist. He admitted it himself. I'm not calling him that. That's what he called himself. Who's in jail, including the pastor at that time, the Reverend Clemente Pinckney, who was also a South Carolina state senator, a great man. A great man. So tune in Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. live. I'll give you more details about the conversation and what President Biden, his plans are to do more of what he's done. And if he can get back, if everybody goes out and vote and he can take back the House of Representatives and keep the Senate, then the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the George Floyd Justice in Policing, all those pieces of legislation, all those laws that the Republicans are blocking, he can go back to instituting the child tax credits where you can get $250 to $350 per child every month. He can make sure that this legislation is written by the Senate and voted on in the House and Senate, so President Biden, or the President Biden, can sign a national law making abortions safe and legal in every state, including this one, South Carolina and Florida and Georgia and Arkansas and Mississippi and Louisiana, where they have these draconian, backwards ass abortion laws because they're not pro-life. President Biden talked about an assault weapon ban that he was a part of in the 90s, along with the late Senator Dianne Feinstein. And if he can get enough senators in the U.S. Senate and enough people in the House, he can pass another assault weapons ban. Because if you were really pro-life MAGA cult, you would have been passed a national assault ban. We'll talk more tomorrow. Shout out to Allie Jones, the wardrobe consultant for the Geno Jones Show. Check her and her collection out online. Check it out on Instagram, lx.n like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi, _ lx.ncl_ on Instagram. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist. For the Geno Jones Show, check him out on Instagram, on IG, Kel Be Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. I'll see you live Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Thanks for watching. Ha ha!
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.